Ann Mitchell from Solace Divorce Mediation. I am a family law attorney, mediator, and a life coach. The first 9 years of my career I spent in the courtroom as a litigation attorney. And for the last 5 years, I now solely utilize mediation and I incorporate life coaching to help the couples that I work with shift their perspective on things. And I am doing 35 days of Facebook Lives. And today, actually, I am doing a Clio Cloud conference. Clio is my case management software that I use at Solace. I've had it for about 3 years. It's always been quite overwhelming for me. And I am diving in, taking a 4-day conference, and I'm going to figure this out. And I thought it was a really good segue into introducing what I'm talking to you about, because paralleling my experience with Clio. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. It's difficult for me to think about. I don't enjoy it. But this conference is helping me realize and understand other people do it. Other law firms have done this. They've been successful with Clio. They know how to use it, and it's a really powerful tool, and it makes their life better because their legal practices flow better. Same as the topic today, which is the recipe for a fabulous co-parenting relationship. And so, hi Jen Downing, I love you. Recipe for a good co-parenting relationship. And if you're going through a divorce right now or thinking about going through a divorce and you have children, the idea of a co-parenting relationship with your spouse can be the same way that I just described that I feel about Clio. Very overwhelming, very uncomfortable, can make you feel icky, just all around awful, right? But the good thing in it, and same with Clio, right? The good thing about it is that there are many co-parents out there that have a great co-parenting relationship. And I feel that I am part of that group. I'm very fortunate and very grateful to be part of that group. But I will share with you too, I'm not just like randomly part of that group. I work really hard at my co-parenting relationship, and I feel that my co-parent Aaron, he works hard too. And so the recipe, right, there are 3 key ingredients for a really strong co-parenting relationship. The first one, solid communication. You have to be able to communicate with one another for the benefit of your children and for the benefit of your lives, right? The second key element, trust. You need to trust that your fellow co-parent is doing a great job with your kids when your kids are spending time with him or her. And the third key ingredient, respect. Let's respect one another as our fellow co-parents, as the parent of your children, giving that person some respect that is completely due because they are the parent of your child. Without that person, you wouldn't have your kids at all. Those are the 3 key ingredients. And kind of stepping back is to kind of give you more of an understanding of why. Why am I talking about this? Why is this important? Well, the why is your children, right? So when you're going through a divorce, it's really difficult to think about, after. It's even more difficult if you're in the courtroom setting to think about after, because the courtroom setting is vicious. It is brutal. It's very difficult. And in my opinion, I was in there for 9 years. So this is not just coming from, this is what I think. It's what I saw when I was in there for 9 years. It truly does destroy people, and it affects children in a really negative way because these parents are constantly fighting. They're constantly stressed, emotionally stressed, financially stressed, physically stressed, mentally stressed, spiritually stressed. It's not good for anyone. And it's really difficult to think about this co-parenting relationship. Now, the governing statute, which I talked about yesterday, in the state of Illinois, there's one governing law. It's called the Illinois Marriage and Dissolution of Marriage Act. The good news is that that governing law has all of the information that you need to resolve any issue that may be part of your divorce. Specifically for children, that statute says that your child will emancipate, meaning it's no longer a minor child, when your child turns 18 or graduates high school. whichever one happens later, right? And then they're emancipated. Then they're no longer part of your, the legal documents that you created, the parenting plan. You don't have to do that anymore because they're emancipated. However, as every parent knows, and even if they're not a parent, they have parents, so everyone knows that parenting doesn't end when your child emancipates. This is a lifelong relationship that you are going to have with your spouse if you're still married, going through a divorce, or even, thinking about divorce, or even after divorce, right? Hopefully this will help you if you don't have a great co-parenting relationship. This is a lifelong relationship. This is something that is going to be part of your life until the day one of you dies. And stepping back and looking at it through that perspective, which is the reality-based perspective, because that is what this is, that is contingent upon, obviously, the fact that your children outlive you, which as parents, we all want that to happen. So let's just manifest that will happen, right? Regardless, it's a lifelong relationship. This is a forever thing. Divorce, in my opinion, the way that I approach divorce with couples that have children at Solace is I just look at it as we are restructuring this relationship. The marriage relationship with all of the definitions, kind of things that you have associated with that. Maybe that's romantic love, maybe that's intimacy, maybe that's monogamy. Whatever it is for you that you have attached to marriage, it's not working, which is why I'm working with my clients, because there's been a breakdown of that. We're just restructuring from this over to here, which is a co-parenting relationship. And I see these two relationships, marriage and co-parenting, I see them the same level. There's not one that's better than the other, more important than the other. They're the same. And as I've shared before, I talk to Erin, my co-parent, all the time. We're constantly texting one another, talking about the kids. And I want to do that. That's part of what I said earlier, being part of this group with a really good co-parenting relationship. That is something that is important to me, is that we always are communicating about our kids and that our kids see us talking all the time. So our kids aren't going to pit one of us against the other. Oh, mom, dad said I could do this. Oh, really? Well, let me call dad right now with you right in front of me to show you that I actually talk to dad all the time. And again, remember the 3 key ingredients: strong communication, trust, and respect. Those are the goals. You want to get those ingredients in place so you can transition from married to co-parents. Another thing that I would suggest that you think about is step out of where you're at right now. Because if you're going through a divorce or thinking about going through a divorce, it's a really uncomfortable time and it's very difficult. It's very emotionally difficult to get through it. So it's difficult to think about, okay, where I'm at now, what do I want for my co-parenting relationship? That can be overwhelming. I don't want to overwhelm you or stress you. So a nice little trick you can utilize is think about your kids, right? We all love our kids. All parents love their kids, unless we have mental health issues or drug and alcohol dependency, which maybe skews that, right? All parents love their children. So just think about your kids and focus on them and focus on, okay, what kind of co-parenting upbringing do I want my children to have? Because that's another big picture kind of reality of divorce when children are involved. It's not just about you and your spouse. Yes, you two are the named parties, right, in the legal documents. You two are the ones that are figuring out, hopefully, if you're utilizing mediation, you two are the ones figuring out what your parenting agreements are, which is basically your parenting plan, travel things, holiday time, all of that good stuff, right? And at Solace, we talk about a lot of different things. I'm going to talk about it next Tuesday in more detail, that parenting agreement. And hopefully the two of you are working together to create all of your marital property division, agreements that are fair and equitable for your unique marriage, since two of you work so hard to accumulate all that stuff, as opposed to letting a judge do all of that if you're in the courtroom setting. Regardless, what I'm getting at is, yes, it is the two of you that are going through this experience together. You two are restructuring from married to co-parents. Absolutely. However, your kids are absolutely involved in this too because this is their new life experience. This is their new reality. They're going with you with this restructuring, right? And so a trick is think about your kids and think about how you want them to feel, when they're both parents, whether it's mom and dad or mom and dad, whatever the dynamic is, right? When they have both parents in the same room, how do you want your kids to feel? How do you want them to see you interact with your co-parent? Do you want them to see you fighting, kind of feel that icky energy? Or do you want them to see you be kind to one another and respectful to one another and nice to one another? My hugely contentious cases, I always say, let's start small, okay? We're not going to expect fabulous co-parenting relationship from the very get-go in a very contentious case. And so what I always suggest is just act the same as you do with like a grocery store attendant, and hopefully, I don't know, maybe, I hope it's not just me, but when I go to the grocery store and I'm checking out, I'm always, hi, how are you? Are you having a good day? Thank you so much. Have a great day. That's it. And another key principle, fake it till you make it. Just focus on what you want. Focus what you want your co-parenting relationship to be. Journal about it. Even make a vision board about it so you see it every single day, right? Focus on what you want. Don't think about what you don't want. None of us as co-parents after divorce want to fight with our co-parent. I can't imagine anyone wants that. Hopefully, no one out there wants that. So don't focus on that. Only focus on what you want. And then just keep doing things that are going to get you to where you want to be and fake it until you make it. Say the different things, even if you don't feel it in your heart and soul right then. Say it over and over and over again, and you're going to train your beautiful brain and your beautiful heart and soul to follow suit if that's what you want. And we all want to live a peaceful life and a happy life. And COVID, right? We're all going through COVID. It's making us all very uncomfortable. It's a very difficult thing to go through. Why are you going to add additional stress into your life and discomfort when you're in control of that? And so if you're finding yourself in a situation where there is a lot of conflict or static between you and your co-parent, I would encourage you to open the door to this conversation. Maybe have him or her, ask him or her to watch this. You know what I mean? Just as like a foundation of the conversation. Like, look, we can do this too. Other people are doing it. And hopefully other co-parents who are successfully co-parenting in a very peaceful manner, right? And have those solid 3 ingredients, right? Communication, trust, and respect. And if you can just keep focusing on those 3 things, right? And also recognize when you restructure from this marriage, or even a relationship, and you have kids and you're not married and you still need to create a parenting plan, this co-parents, you have to keep your eye on the big prize. You have to understand this is a very difficult thing that you're going through. You can do all of these things. You can have all of these conversations. And when you're going through this restructuring, yes, it may be difficult. Yes, it may be overwhelming, but you are in control of all of those things. And when you actually make that transition, all of the icky things over here that were irritating to you and making you feel gross and awful and maybe angry, vengeful, hateful, whatever, all of those low level energy feelings, even when I say them, it does make me feel good, right? All of those things that were there, in addition to your kids were always there too, right? When you do this restructuring and you move over just to co-parents, all of that other stuff is gone because you don't have to talk about all that stuff. You don't have to fight about that stuff. You don't have to be uncomfortable about that stuff. All you have to do is talk about the children. And I have a past client who, I hope you're watching this and you know who you are, but she was in my office during a mediation and she said, all I want to do is be this. And that was her visual. And for her, what this visual meant was she just wanted to be co-parents, him and her, together as a team for the benefit of their children. And I think that is a great thing to focus on too, being this unified front for your children, this continual narrative with your kids. We're still a family. We're just a different family than we were before. We're still your parents, just like we were before in this marriage relationship, Now in the co-parents, we're still your parents and we're still a family, and mom and dad, or mom and mom, dad and dad, whatever your dynamic might be, are still a unified front for you. We are talking all the time. We are completely on top of everything that is happening with you guys. We know everything. There's nothing that can go past us or whatever. But those are hopefully some tips that you can use and implement in your co-parenting relationship so you can better your life experience. Because again, and I say this all the time because it's true, this is a lifelong relationship. This is a relationship that you are going to have for your entire life. So be mindful of that when you're going through a divorce, right? Or even after, or separation, whatever it is. Be mindful of that what you're doing during this process of restructuring, that's going to directly impact this co-parenting relationship that is lasting forever, for your whole life. And so maybe step back with your vision board or journaling or whatever you're doing to capture your thoughts and really think about, how do you want to feel every single time that you're going to see this person or talk to this person for the rest of your life? How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel icky? Do you want to feel angry? Do you want to just feel like you want to, do something destructive every time after you see this person? No one wants to feel that way. I hope you don't want to feel that way. I hope you don't. I hope you want to love yourself and take good care of yourself and just embrace yourself for the beautiful person that you are, right? So be mindful of that. You are going to be interacting with this person for the rest of your life. Your children are going to see the two of you interacting. They're going to feel it when they're around you. So be mindful of that too. And just know and embrace that you are in control of this. You can create a really solid, great co-parenting relationship. Maybe I'll even have a competition. Maybe if you have a great co-parenting relationship, put it in the comments of what you do to make it so great. Maybe we can have like an annual Solace co-parenting competition or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking of this right now. But something fun to encourage people to share what they're doing to make their co-parenting relationship great. Because it's tricky. It's a difficult thing, right? It's a difficult thing to navigate through, especially because you are getting a divorce or you're getting separated. That romantic love relationship, it's not there anymore. You're not energetically vibing the same way you were before. And so you have to move here, and it's a difficult thing to do, and it's tricky to then start to navigate, co-parenting for the rest of your life. So I hope these tips helped you. I love all of you. I hope you're enjoying this beautiful day. I'm in Oak Park. The sunshine is gorgeous, and the sky is just so blue and amazing. I'm going to go back to my Clio conference and learn some more. And I hope all of you have fabulous co-parenting relationships. I hope you set some intentions around them too, of what you want them to be. Again, journaling, vision boards, open and honest conversations with your co-parent, all of these beautiful things. I hope you all have a wonderful day and be the change that you wish to see in this world.